love that man, you know. He's an incredible person.
Ready? I'm here with Kari Barba. Very delighted to have you here. Do you recall your first meeting with Bill Salmon?
I do. I was speaking with Philip earlier today and was recalling the first time that I met Bill. And it was early in 1982. There was a convention on the Queen Mary.
Okay.
And that was my first convention I worked. And Bill dressed up as the Great Omi. And he had the makeup all in. He was doing photos, running around, talking to everybody, and just creating such a great atmosphere and making everybody laugh and respect him. And nobody knew who he was. You couldn't tell it was Bill. And he was completely covered in the makeup. And it was just a fabulous meeting. And then to realize him later and his personality and what kind of man he was, you know, just able to make anybody laugh and everybody smile, and just was always the center of that kind of feeling in every time he was with people. It was great.
Right. And during that convention, was he tattooing, or was he just there dressed up as the Great Omi?
Yeah, you know, it's interesting because I don't recall him tattooing there, but I just remember him being dressed up and taking photos with everyone. And I really don't know if he was tattooing or not. That said, you know, I was tattooing the rest of the time, and every time I saw him, he was in costume. You know? So, you know, makeup, basically. But yeah, just being a part of everybody, you know. So that's what all I remember of that convention with Bill, and him and his humor, and a lot of times he didn't even talk because he didn't want to fall out of character.
Right.
Yeah, it was great.
That pretty much started your friendship with him.
Yes, yes. You know, most of the time back in the day, there was one convention every year. So everybody would show up at the same convention, the National Tattoo Association convention, and we would all meet every year, just kind of like it is now with Mondial, you know, getting together every year. And then periodically, being from Southern California, pop up to the shop every couple of years just to say hello, get to, you know, see his shop and the workings in his shop. And, you know, Bill, you know, even if you're passing just by him in a convention, you can't not stop and just stay and listen and have a fantastic conversation and listen to his stories.
Right.
So at least every year, but, you know, periodically more often we would get together.
With his stories, were they more like experiences that he had, or just kind of antics?
All in combination, and always told in a joke, right?
Yeah.
He always had the best jokes. Sometimes now this is more recent, but we'd be sitting judging up on the stage, and he will, you know, just lean over, and there's someone in front of you showing a tattoo, and you think he's going to make a comment about the tattoo, and he'll leave over, and he's just got the best joke just to get you laughing, to loosen up the mood, you know? So he's really good about that. It's really funny.
Yeah, it's from what I'm hearing is he really knew how to treat people, almost like he knew the psychology of like what can make someone comfortable, and maybe even make the situation or more enjoyable for everybody.
He had a sense of that.
Yeah.
He absolutely knew. And it wasn't that it was, you know, created. It was a natural way for him. It was just down in his soul that he was pleasing and happy and could make everybody laugh, you know? And it's great that came out in his religion, right? But even prior to that, it was just his way, just to be that man who could make everybody smile and everybody laugh. He always had that story, that joke, and he could basically convince you of anything or sell you anything if he needed to.
If he needed to. Incredible. It wasn't so much about the tattooing with him, there was more to it as far as like the ideas behind it. Is this something that he may have influenced you as well? How to approach tattooing in that way?
We've talked about it a lot because we both have the same feeling about making people comfortable and helping them to relax in the studio and the atmosphere all the way around, how important that is. So he would always talk about that. You know, even the smell that you smell when you come into the shop and the way you're greeted and professionalism and kindness, and coming from a real place of truth with that.
Right.
Not that he felt he had to do it, he just was that way. And it was amazing, the whole philosophy of taking the mind away from the pain, and just this lifestyle of tattoo and what that was to him was very important.
Wow. Philip was talking about how he didn't naturally pursue tattooing, how it kind of fell into his life in a way. And it's interesting that he would have this type of approach and not having the drive to tattoo in the beginning. It's a very unique approach, and I think definitely for his time, where a lot of tattoo shops were more kind of rough and tough and just like get them in, get them out, and this was a whole different perspective.
Absolutely. And I think part of that comes from him being tattooed so much in the beginning. He's seeing things from the reverse side first.
Yeah.
So as a client, how would I like to be treated, and what kind of atmosphere would I like? Would he like? So when he started tattooing, he already had that background of being on the other side. And when someone sees something from the other side first, they're going to come at it from a different way. But he's a peaceful guy all the way around. It's like love and happiness from day one. So why not have his business be the same way and have it be relaxed like that? And I too didn't have that drive to be a tattoo artist. We've communicated a lot about how we both accidentally fell into it, and came across tattooing, and it was kind of a gift to us. And I think he had that feeling that this was meant for him to be in this atmosphere, and to, maybe he didn't realize he was meant to help people be happy, but that was his destiny.
Right. But it's definitely apparent that he's touched a lot of people's lives, and
it's absolutely true. My son Jeremiah, him and Bill were pretty close also, and he used to go visit Bill, and I remember him talking about the story when Bill asked Jeremiah to sign him, do his signature on him, and he couldn't believe how great it was, but more so the stories of just spending time with him and how great of a person he was. He felt like an older brother or a father to my son, and I think that's fantastic that they had that connection too.
Yeah. Do you have any tattoos from Bill?
I don't. No, I don't. I'm actually not a very good collector.
No.
So, no. I'm starting late in life, just starting to get tattoos recently, and it had been on my mind the last couple times that I had seen him, and I just never followed through, and do regret that now. Yeah, it's sad. But
how long have you been doing the judging here for the...
This is my 4th year.
Yeah.
MARC is the newest edition, right? So MARC came first last year. So before I did it, the other 3, Philip, Luke, and Bill, were together the first year, and they invited me the second year.
Okay.
They gave me this great gavel, and you can't see it, but they gave me this gavel that's... And they gave this to everyone, so it's engraved. It says Judge Kari, Paris 2016, from Bill, Luke, Philip, and Tintin.
Oh, it's wonderful.
So he created one of these for everybody, and this is just the kind of thing he did. And every time we'd come to the convention, he had a gift for you. Something small, like a pin. The first year he gave me a little Pell pin of a little pink panther, right? And every year he had some sort of gift. The next year he gave me a diamond, a rainbow. We're all wearing these in memory of him this year, but the one he gave me was the logo from his shop.
Okay.
So he is the diamond. Yeah.
Do you know where this the diamond symbol came from, where it originated?
I don't know that.
No.
Maybe Philip knows.
Yeah, I'll have to ask him.
Yeah, he might know. I don't know that, but it's great. And I know he also is very attracted to rainbow and the color of the rainbow and the spirituality of that.
Yeah, I was looking at some artwork of his, and there's this chrysanthemum, and it's all the colors of the rainbow with the galaxy behind it.
Yeah, I just received that print. Also, they made some prints this year of that, and that was the last drawing he did before he passed.
Really?
And I think he was just going back to his spirituality and, reflecting that on paper, and just... A rainbow just tells everything about all people, It covers everything, all the spectrum, and I think that's his philosophy, is everything is beautiful.
Right. Incredible. Thank you so much. I really appreciate you making the time.
Oh, no problem
I
at
know
all.
you all are very busy with doing the judging, and there's a lot of other people that want to stop and talk to you, so I appreciate the time.
Yeah, I
you've
hope
given
you
us.
can get some photos of all his shoes that he wore during.
Yeah?
That would be a fantastic photo.
Where would I get this?
Let's talk to Junie. We can
Okay.
check him out, because every year he would have different shoes of different colors and made of different things. And, you know, his outfits are quite recognizable, how
Yeah.
stylish he dressed, and that would be really great to include some of those photos of
Yeah.
him. We'll see what we can
Yeah,
find.
let's talk to Junie and find out what we can
Great.
do. Thank you so much.
You're welcome.
I appreciate it.
Thank you. Thank you.
Hello, hello.
I'm here with Mark Mahoney. Thank you so much for joining us. I know you were a friend of Bill Salmon's, and the past few years you did the judging with him at the Paris convention. Do you have any great stories to remember him by? I'd love to hear it.
I think there's probably, so many wild Bill stories that I just want to talk about what a sweet and gentle person he was, just so kind, so sweet, and he was exactly like you would think him to be, with a little native New Yorker vibe wrapped up in 20 years of San Francisco psychedelia. And I think it's the kind of thing, like they say that about, if you remember the 60s and you weren't really there, I think if you were Bill's friend in the 80s and you remember it, you weren't really his friend. But I do remember when I first met him, and it was this little tea party thing they used to have in San Francisco for tattooers. It was like a little mini convention, and I had only been in LA for a week, and some of the guys were driving up to go to this little tea party thing, and I ended up going with them. And I met Jack Rudy and Ed Hardy, and the one that stands out, of course, is Bill Salmon, and he was in the process of getting his bodysuit from Ed, and just so excited to be there, and so cool, and I knew immediately I would be his buddy for life, Can't say that for all the other people there, man, but fucking me and Bill hit it off, and I think he had that special quality where you just connected with him and stayed connected.
And you're able to remain friends from the very first time you met, just very close.
Absolutely, and there'd be a couple years in between, but you just pick up where you left off, and so wonderful. And then they had asked me to be a judge for a couple years, and I'm not like Mr. Traveler guy. All I ever did was work. So when I figured out I could actually get on a plane and go places, started to do it, but I really regret not doing it earlier, because it's so fun to do when Bill's around.
From some of the earlier stories, like he really introduced to people to a lot of new experiences and places, and he was really one of those guys that could keep people connected.
Yeah, and a guide to life, where it's happening. He always knew what was happening. He always knew that too. Yeah, he's a pretty amazing soul. His funeral was beautiful. I had never been to a Buddhist ceremony like that. And it was moving. It was cool. The hypnotic drums and the chanting was amazing.
You're the first person I've talked to that was at the funeral. Would you mind sharing kind of like the mood there? It
was like an Irish wake. I think people were kind of happy. We were all, I think, the way Bill would have wanted us to be at a gathering in his name. And it didn't have the gloom, like a lot of funerals. It didn't look like Bill in the coffin, but other than that, it was a wonderful thing. It was kind of unsettling to see him in the coffin, but it was a beautiful day, and it was really nice to see the old timers there. It's nice when I'm not the oldest guy in the room. Okay. So it's it's really cool, beautiful ceremony. People came from all over for it.
Yeah. Do you have any fun stories about your time judging with him here in Paris?
He just makes it, and when it can be like overwhelming when there's 40 people, he just makes it fun, and it's never a drag. It's always an adventure when you're with Bill, And I'm gonna miss him, us judges, forever. I'm very grateful for the time we spent and regretful for the time we didn't.
Definitely. Do you keep in touch with Junie and all the rest of the people from the shop?
Yeah. Someone suggested having her be Bill's replacement on the jury up there.
Yeah, why not?
Great, man. But yeah, she's awesome as well, and I remember how happy he was when they first got together.
You were around during those times?
Yeah.
Yeah? What was it like then?
Cute. Yeah, he was so excited, and so in love, and proud to be. They were both proud to be with one another. It was super cute. They were always super cute like that to me.
I think they're calling you.
Okay. That's good. I gotta go.
Yeah. Thank you again for joining me, and I appreciate you taking the time to do this in the meantime.
I appreciate what you're doing.
Hello. Close? Talk close? Close and loud? I am not a loud talker.
But don't yell at me.
I'm a low talker.
I'll get intimidated if you yell too much.
I'm not a yeller at all, unless I'm really angry.
Yeah.
Doesn't happen often.
I'm here with SHAWN Barber, and thank you very much for taking the time to
thank you for asking.
Share a few words on the memory of Bill Salmon. What was your first experience with Bill?
I had known about Bill and Junie prior to moving to San Francisco. I moved there mid-2000s and lived in Nob Hill, a few blocks from their shop, Diamond Club. And at the time was married to a Japanese woman. Was trying to learn Japanese and interested in tattooing, and went there quite a few times and got to know them a little bit, and then started tattooing. Got to know them quite a bit more.
Right.
And I've been documenting tattooers since then, and obviously have done some paintings of the two of them, so became close.
Yeah, I remember last year looking at the exhibit you had here in Paris, and it was very impressive. And
oh, thank you.
The painting with the different judges and the different positions was really fantastic. And
thank you.
You really got the character of Bill along with the other artists. But yeah, what was it like talking with him? Was he like interested in?
Bill was always engaged in healthy conversation.
Yeah.
Just enthusiastic and inquisitive and excited about everything and trying to share where he's coming from, and just to get people excited about tattooing and arts.
So almost like he's trying to pass on his own passion.
Absolutely. Yeah. Absolutely. In a way that's so lively and so just excited about life, you know. Always a good time. Yeah. Lots of stories that I'm not good at remembering or retaining a lot of the information, but in the moment, it was always a special time.
But always positive and...
Yes, always.
Did you ever get tattooed over there?
I did not.
No, but you definitely spent some time in the shop.
Yeah.
What was the atmosphere and the vibe there when you were...
Diamond Club's a familial place. They're... You visit unannounced, and they welcome you with open arms. A couple times recently, I stopped by just to try to take photos of them, and they're like, "Oh, let's have lunch together." All those kind of things. Just welcoming. It feels like a family. Always positive, always happy to see each other.
That's nice that they took the time to.
Yeah. They're those kind of people. And seeing a tattooed couple who work together is there's some admiration in that, and future goals of trying to keep that going. It's a great example of
so more so than tattooing, but the relationship that Junie and Bill had together was inspiring.
Powerful.
Yeah. What was it like watching them work together?
You know, it's like they're like best friends forever. You know, it's just a special time. Yeah.
That's great.
Yeah.
Definitely tell it's affected you.
Yeah.
But that's good. And I think it's important to have those people in your life, and keeping the memory strong is a good thing.
Yeah, there's so many folks in the community. Everybody cares about each other. You know? It's pretty amazing.
It's a big thing. Yeah, you meet a lot of different people, especially in tattooing, that have a wall, and it's kind of like us and them. And
they have no wall. Bill and Julie had no wall. They welcome everybody and are generous and sincere and real. That's not as common.
Definitely.
With them, for years I wanted to, because I've done a couple paintings, but I wanted to do, in a way, there's an old historical photo of John Lennon and Yoko Ono nude in bed together.
Yeah.
And was always persistent in, can we do something like that? Can we do something like that? And obviously that didn't pan out, but a few months ago, before Bill passed, I was visiting them for some trips to go see Lyle Tuttle. And Bill's like, you know what? My body's never going to look as good as it does now. I think I'm ready to take those nude photos. So I got the opportunity to get some great images of him alone, nude, 360 kind of view, and then some of him and Junie together.
Incredible.
Yeah.
And then,
so those will be paintings. I did one of them for Lyle's show in September. That's now in their shop.
I really look forward to seeing that, and in a way I admire what you're doing, because you're creating artwork, but you're creating a historical documentation as well of our time in tattooing and the people in it.
Yes.
And so maybe it's not written, or it's not some sort of video documentary, but it's a documentary, and I think very true, because it's from your experience.
It is from my experience. It's from my perspective, but my perspective is through traveling and the generosity of the people in our community. Like, it's everybody's perspective in a way.
Yeah. We're lucky to have you able to document.
I see myself as a not a voyeur, but an observer who is a part of this amazing community, and I want to embrace it, represent it in a way that it's sincere.
Yeah, well, it shows. I definitely see it, and I don't want to bastardize it. No, there's enough of that.
Yeah, there's too much of it.
You're coming at it from a completely original avenue as well, because not only are you tattooing, you're painting it as well.
Yes.
So you're fully immersed.
Yes, I am.
And that's special.
Thank you. And it's a special. Tattooing there's nothing like it.
Definitely.
And it's fortunate to stumble into it.
Yeah, definitely. I just want to thank you again for saying a few words, and
appreciate it.
I appreciate it too. Let me give you a hug.
Yeah. Thanks, man. Yeah, thank you so much. You're welcome. Appreciate it. You almost got me. Sorry, man. Sorry. And I can't help
it. I'm here with YONI ZILBER. I'm very happy that you were able to join me here and share a couple of stories or memories that you have of Bill Salmon.
Yeah, I'm going to think about maybe the first time I met Bill Salmon. It was in a New York convention in Roseland. It was beginning of 2000, I would think. I don't remember. It's one of the first conventions. Shinji introduced me to Bill. And then we talked, and at the end of the convention we walked outside, and I used to have a Cadillac DeVille, like 1961, with all the fins and beautiful car, and Bill saw me, he's like, is this your ride? I'm like, yeah. He's like, I'm hanging out with you tonight. And I was like, great, so me and Bill and Frank Romano was in the car too, but we all night just going to bars, hopping in Brooklyn, and we end up like East New York, and like we're talking about like all night long bender, and one point we in a bar in Brooklyn, and me and Bill sitting outside the bar and talking. And for me, it was like just a whole old EP in a way, like I'm like, he's such a cool guy. Like I know all the stories from the 90s and stuff, so I was excited to be with him. But we talked so much, and this guy, homeless guy, walked by, but pretty aggressively, like big guy, like a guy you don't want to mess with,
Sure.
And he's kind of coming to us, and he's like, yo, can you spare some change, But we were in the middle of conversation, and I think Bill didn't care that he asked for the money. I'm sure he did, but he was probably like, you just stopped. You came in the wrong way. You could have said, excuse me or something. So Bill's like, hey, take a hike. And I was like, whoa, this guy got some balls. I'm like, this guy is not something I would talk like that to. But the guy just walked away. He was like, Bill said it in the right tone. But he didn't say it to being mean to the guy because the guy's homeless, but he said it only because the way the guy came in and asked for it, not because he asked for the money.
Sure.
So I thought, oh, that's so cool. So yeah, and all night we just hanging out, and probably one of the best nights in my life, being with him all night. And in the morning, it was 5 a.m, I'm dropping off at Shinji's house with my Cadillac, and I open the door. He's like, hey, Yoni, let me show you something. And he pulled down his pants, and he had my car. He had 59, mine was 61, but he had a tattooed all over his thighs by Ed Hardy. And I was like, I can't believe he didn't say anything all night. He had my car 2 years younger, but tattooed on his thighs. So it was cool. Yeah. Since then we kept in touch, and yeah, there's so many stories that I'm sure people hear over the time. But
sure.
Yeah, it's for me, when I think about it, I feel like if tattooing is a human body, the heart just got ripped out, when I think about it.
Yeah, definitely. Did you spend a lot of time with him in California?
Yes,
yeah.
I go guest in Diamond Club, and yeah, we had a lot of good time together, one-on-one for over a week, one-on-one, and just eating, drinking, and talking and playing guitar. He taught me to play guitar.
Yeah.
And I'm still playing to this day. Yeah, he's the best guitar teacher anybody can ask for.
Really?
Yeah, amazing.
Yeah, it seems like everybody's life he's touched, he's influenced in a positive way.
I feel like everybody that Bill Salmon was talking to, I think someone said it already, but it's really what I'm going to say. But you feel like the most important person in the world when you talk to him is Bill Salmon, because no matter what's going around, he's one-on-one with you.
Right.
He's talking to you, he's whispering in your ear, whatever, but he makes you feel so special. No matter if you know you for a day or for all his life, he still will treat you as very special. And it was an amazing thing about him.
Yeah, a lot of people have said that he has no real judgment. It's like everybody is, a part of this thing.
Yeah, I read the Ed Hardy's book, and he said that Bill Salmon came to tattooing, and he became to be the character Bill Salmon. He was Bill Salmon before he came to tattooing. He was that person. So he was already a very colorful person and very interesting person before he was a tattooer. He was just like a car radio salesman or something, So it's amazing that he had the character of very important and colorful person in tattooing, but he already did it before tattooing. So he wasn't faking anything, this is him, the real deal,
Yeah, and everything he touches just became more of an extension of himself.
Yeah, even his art and tattooing, I think that is innovating in his way. There's few innovators in tattooing, but I do believe that Bill Salmon is one of them.
Definitely.
I feel like Bill always say, tell me a joke, and then he know that I will repeat that joke, so somebody's looking at me, he's like, oh, this is my joke, because we're hanging in the same crowd, so he don't want to tell that he will say his joke second, So it's weird to say, but one funny story about the joke, I don't think it's a joke, it might be even just made it up, but it's probably happened. But he was tattooing, I think, in a Salt Lake convention, and he's doing this tattoo on somebody's leg, and this other guy walked into the booth. He's like, "Oh, that's a cool tattoo. My tattoo is a little cooler." And Bill's like, "Really? No, let's check it out." And the guy pulled up his pants, and he have a little cooler tattoo on his ankle. But it's such a it's probably happened, but it's something that Bill Salmon just can come up with. Even it's amazing how his humor is so crazy. Yeah,
very good.
Yeah.
Well, he'll definitely be missed, and
I don't think there's gonna be ever again someone like him.
No.
Yeah.
but thankfully people like you are able to kind of share some experiences.
Very important part in tattooing.
Yeah, definitely. Wonderful. Yeah. I thank you again.
Yeah, thank you.
Get back to work. I took you away from your tattoo, but I appreciate you making the time.
Of course. Thank you.
Thank you.